Welcome back to the vlog. It is another beautiful day here in Colorado. I want to go back to shorts and flip-flop weather. Okay, so it is definitely cold outside, but whatever, we got work to do and we'll stay warm inside. So we got some boxes in from Innovative Machine Solutions. We're gonna open those up, get some work done. All right, let's see what we got. Rotors. We have our Wilwood GT37 rotors. I'm gonna try not to cut my leg there. And these are a vented rotor for the front axle. I think yeah, these are GT37. These are the similar ones to what we're running on the IFS car. These are a little bit thinner to match the existing 6-piston calipers we already have. And then these will be attached with these hats that are made by Devin at Innovative Machining Solutions. And then on the rear, we'll be using the same hat. However, it's using a single plane, non-vented rotor. Actually, I guess technically it is vented because it does have the holes, but we'll be using this on the rear again to complement the existing caliper that we have in place. So now we got to figure out how this is all going to go together and what we need, and we'll go from there. Let's hope Devin drilled this to the right 8-lug pattern.
Find out. Same hats as your car.
There you go.
That sucks.
It's not gonna work, is it? Pad's too big?
No. Just the way it says. Well, we almost got lucky here. I thought the bracket was going to be close, but it's too close, so we got to cut it. The depth of the rotor is slightly different, so it's bringing the caliper further this way, and I don't think there's a way that we can make this work without cutting that bracket off and redoing it, which it's not horrible, it's more just a pain, but we can probably make something work. So we're gonna look this over and we'll see where we go next. But as a whole, everything's coming together well on it. I do have to chuck this unit bearing up in the lathe and cut out the center of this so it can fit the 35 spline, because as you can see, that hole, actually I don't know if you can tell, but that hole is bigger than that hole. And it's got to be bigger to fit a 35 spline axle shaft. Fun times. Well, unfortunately, we've got to cut the bracket off, but I'm going to let Joe work on cutting this guy off, and then I'm going to take this over to the lathe because we've got to bore out the center of this to fit the 35 spline shaft, because it's currently too small, so you have to bore out the center. And then the other thing that we'll do is this nut we weld, because once you cut a little bit of the meat off of this, it becomes weaker and it can stretch and pull the unit bearing apart. So by welding it, it gives it a much stronger surface to hold on to. So I'm gonna go over to the lathe. Joe's gonna cut and roll the music. Now that Joe has the rear end tore apart here, I've got the unit bearing, and we actually use the same unit bearing on all four corners. We're going to test fit this with the rear rotor to see how it fits. So, moment of truth on this one. The front didn't cooperate, so don't know. What do you think, Joe? Is the rear going to cooperate?
Probably not, but
yeah, I don't think so either.
I can actually tell you right now.
Oh, it's gonna be close, man.
It's gonna be really close.
Oh, you gone off the width?
Uh-huh. Look.
Yeah.
This is... It might. It really depends. We'll see.
Boy, how much room it has to flex on there. Oh, you can't. Yeah, you have to use the extension.
I see that.
Oh, I don't think you're gonna be able to do it with that at all. Maybe. I did it completely by hand.
Well, if there's a bucket of fluid, something's going in it. It's a mess here on the floor.
It's fine.
What the? Why is she so tight?
I don't know. But I literally did all 4 of those by hand every turn. I had no choice.
It's extremely tight. Okay. Yeah, I don't even know if this is gonna work. I'm just figuring stuff out. Is this spline key back here still?
No, it was up front, with sitting right with all of it.
There's one right there on the shelf. Will it fit, Joe?
It's close. We'll see.
I actually think it will.
It does look like that outer caliper's pushed out a little, or outer piston's pushed out a little further than the inner. So.
Well, you're thinking.
It's just less modification than the front.
I don't know if it's less, but
Easier.
So the good thing is the width is right, and we're hitting left to right. The bad thing is our pad contact is not correct at all. So let me get a flashlight. You can see down in there. The pad is only maybe halfway on the rotor because this one is a smaller rotor. The funny thing is that rotor that another company makes is actually bigger than what Willwood recommends. So I don't know. Anywho, so these brackets are all bolt-on. So we're simply going to unbolt them and we're going to trim them down. And I think that will be an easy way to do it. And then we'll tack it up and see how she fits. I've got an extra set of these brackets here. So what we're gonna do is we need to get probably about 3/4 of an inch. So we're gonna cut here and cut this section out. And we'll tack weld that on and see how we hit there. Because that might give us the room we need. Yeah.
Nice. Catch the bottom side of that one.
Now that we got the rear all tacked up, we're gonna tack up the front and see how it fits.